2.1. For patch 2.1, we also did a Tall Man's Finger with SMK for 2.1. We then did Carnival, which was for 2.1, all the updates with all the gems and stuff. And now I bring to you the Rhen'Ho Flayer build. Pretty solid build. I was able to clear 35. I actually got the Miracle Rift, but nice consistent build. Can do 30 to 33 very comfortably. 34 and 35 need a little bit of effort on your part in terms of gear and play style. And I feel that this build can probably, with you take it to the max and get everything rolled pretty well, probably can get to about, I would say, 36, 37. There might be somebody who even gets to that a little bit later than that, but it's just another build that you can use in case you don't have an SMK, or you don't want to go Jade Cell, or you want to do something differently. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into the guild, not the guild, into the build, like we normally do. Alright, first off, it is a pet build. We're going to be going ahead and using the Drum. Of course, you know, typical stats, int, vit, critical percent chance, and a socket. Followed by the Tasker and Theo. Still haven't found one that's critical percent chance or in critical damage, int, vit, or I'd even take trifecta, but these will do. Increases the attack speed for pets. It ranges from 40 to 50%. Ogdol's Authority on the shoulder. Int, vitality. I would like armor instead of all resistance, but the rolls are pretty solid and increase zombie dog damage. And then of course the Ogdol's rule, int, vitality, zombie dog damage, another solid piece. And also the bracers, which are poison increase, since this is a poison based build. Intelligence, vitality, and crit percent chance. We're using the Blackthorn's Cross, int, critical percent chance, critical damage, and a socket. And we're using also the Blackthorn boots, so we can get the 2-piece set, which increases damage versus elites and 250 vitality. Witching Hour for the increase in attack speed and also increase in critical damage, which is really good. Attack speed helps out the build a lot. Unity Ring on myself and also my follower Enchantress, combined with the Smoking Thurible, which makes it so my follower can't die. And with that Unity combo, gives me a permanent 50% damage mitigation when I'm doing rifts. Tall Man's Finger, and critical percent chance, critical damage, and socket. Tall Man's Finger is pretty much the anchor of the build in combination with the fetishes and the toads. That will be our elite killer and Rift Guardian killer. Of course, the Rhen'Ho Flayer makes so that Plague's toads, they seek out targets like homing missiles, and they can explode twice. So basically when a frog goes out, it will seek out the target, hit the first target, go through the target, hit the next target, and explode. Swampland, some people say waders, some people say waters. I like to say waders, but anyways. Increased poison damage by 20%, pretty decent in vid to double socket. And then of course the Ukapun Serpent, so our dog absorbs some of our damage, and this just has of course zombie dog damage and vitality. Pretty straightforward stuff. 1.4 million damage, 12.3 million toughness, 1.85 attack speed, 61% critical chance, and 386% critical damage. Really not much else than that. The elite damage is 54%, which is pretty nice. Increased 42.50% chance on the Plague of Toad damage, and I'll explain where we get that from, but 42% damage from the zombie dog. And also for our Paragon, let me go and invest a point here. There we go. Paragon points, first one, enough movement speed to get 25%, and then into int. As much points as we can. I don't take movement speed on my boost because I'd rather have the extra damage mitigating stats as all resistance or armor instead of movement speed. Attack speed 10%. We want to have a good attack speed. Really want to be at 1.8 attack speed or higher. I know there's somebody that's mentioned there might be a breakpoint at 1.87, but pretty much 1.8 or higher is pretty good because you need to be able to get a good attack speed to generate fetishes and also keep those mobs CC. Critical chance 5% and also critical damage 28%. I actually probably could reduce the critical percent chance and put more critical damage because I am at 61%, but that's okay. We're not going to worry about that. Points into armor because we're an int class and we get all resistance from our int, so we're going to get armor, life percent, and then we start putting points into all resistance. And then of course life on hit, area damage, resource cost reduction is the last one, or you can go for gold fund, but the main one, as long as you have life on hit and area damage, that's pretty much what you want to have. In terms of the skill, Plague of Toads with Ailing Toads for the CC and the poison effect on that. It's really strong. Piranhas with Frozen Piranhas for CC and to keep things off of us and keep it in one place. Spirit Walk with Jaunt. Again, escape tactic. Lets us get through the environment quicker, but most importantly, it's probably going to keep us out of trouble. Summon Zombie Dog, Rabid Dogs. He is the anchor of the build. And what I mean by anchor is if the fetishes and gargantuan die, then this dog will pretty much pull through and kill whatever's on the screen and handle whatever we got to do. And then also gargantuan Big Stinker. Some people may not want to run this. You can run Big Bad Voodoo instead. You can maybe even drop Zombie Dog Handler and run Grave Injustice and post Piranhas with Perinado and go for like Big Bad Voodoo. I kind of like the Gargantuan. He adds another layer of another tanking pet for me. His AoE poison also triggers off the infectious toxin gem, and he hits fairly hard. So I mean, it's not the best one, but it's not the worst, and he also does gain the effect of Midnight Feast, so he's pretty solid. But like I said, if you'd like to switch something out, that's totally up to you. And I like to also run Horrify. Friday Aspect. Ooh, I got the wrong one. There we go. Which basically increases my toughness even more and also CCs the target. If you take a look at it, makes it go up to almost 15 million toughness, so pretty solid skill overall. Skills are going to be Pierce the Veil, Fetish Sycophants, Zombie Dog Handler, and Midnight Feast. And Pierce the Veil for damage increase. We're not using a mana, so not a big deal there. Please excuse me, I'm sorry guys. I think I got a frog in my throat today. Fetish Sycophants. Generates a fetish every time we do damage. This is going to work really well with Plague of Toads and provide us extra monsters to tank for us and extra added DPS. Zombie Dog Handler increases additional 1 zombie dog count, which makes our zombie dog more powerful, increases the HP of our zombie dog, gargantuan, and ourselves by 20%. And then, of course, Midnight Feast increases the DPS of the dog and the gargantuan by 50%, and also adds another dog to the counter of how many dogs we have, which makes the Tall Man's Finger effect even better. And of course, for legendary gems, we are rocking Bane of the Powerful. No surprise here. The 66 seconds with 20% increased damage versus least by 15%. Pretty awesome. Tall Man's Finger, we're using Simplicity Gem, or Simplicity Strength. Some people might want to switch out and may not use this. The reason I like this is because basically I don't want to have to sacrifice any of my stats and my gear for life on hit. And this one thing accomplishes 2 things. It makes my Toads hit harder, which is cool, and it also gives me the life on hit, which I need to make the build more consistent. If you'd like to run more damage or run something else, you can. But for a little bit of forewarning, you want to get cooldown reduction, or not cooldown reduction, life on hit to 20,000 or more. It really helps and alleviates when you're fighting monsters that have Reflect. And if you don't tread cautiously, a Reflect will RNG you out. And what do I mean by RNG? Is what I realized is to make more consistent runs with the Flayer build, I noticed I was getting shut down really badly by Reflect mobs. So I said to myself, well, you know, I'll go ahead and use Simplicity Strength. Now, it may not be as powerful as other gems, but it does increase the Toad's damage up by 42%, which is good. More damage in my Toads. But most importantly, it gives me that life on hit because I do believe with the amount of HP I have about 700k. I do believe at 2% it's like 14,000 plus the additional 8, brings me up to about 22,000 life on hit. Makes a significant difference in making those Reflect mobs not injure life. Because once you get to 33, 34, 35, sometimes what can shut you down is just a elite boss or a mob that has Reflect, and if you don't have that life on hit, it really hurts you. Plus, the life on hit in general is pretty nice. I find myself saving my potions a lot more. I could actually sustain damage a lot better because I don't have to worry about being low and waiting for my potion to come off cooldown or looking for a health globe. So it's pretty solid stone in my opinion. You do need to level it up, but give it a try. But at any time, if you don't like it, you can go ahead and switch out and try something different. Now, the last one is the Gem of Infectious Toxin. I love this gem. Poison all enemies hit for 4,000 weapon damage over 10 seconds. And since we're building poison damage in this build, the poison effect scales upwards. It gets scaled by the elemental damage of poison. All enemies you poison take 10% increased damage from the dog. From the Gargantuan's going to trigger that. But I mean, the Gargantuan, the pets trigger the Infectious Toxin gem. You could trigger it. Enemies being poisoned by Gargantuan's AoE, the dog, you know, the toads is all going to be counted as poison, so they're going to take 10% increased damage. Really makes the build a lot more solid and gives us a little bit of that extra damage we need for this build since we're running so much toughness. Okay, so that's pretty much just the build. Now, you can play around with different things, like I said. Some people may not care for Gargantuan or Horrify, but that's just what I like to run. Some people like to might run, drop the Zombie Dog Handler, run Grave Injustice, and run Big Bad Voodoo instead. But in this situation, I just find that this combination is the best. We'll go ahead and turn on game sounds, because we can't play music because YouTube will go crazy. Hit accept. And this video is going to have the introductory rift, or the trial rift and the introductory rift. And then the other probably 2 parts of this video will be me of going to higher level rifts. So let's see if we can make a good performance here. Trial rifts are kind of sporadic sometimes. So sometimes you can get really high and sometimes you'll get very low. Ooh, that's a little loud. There we go. Much better. And there really isn't too much to Rhen'Ho Flayer build. You just throw out the toads. You drop the frozen piranhas in between you and the mob. And then occasionally when a mob gets too close to you or you want to keep a mob CC, you use your Horrify. And versus Rift Guardians, you just use your Horrify as a way to just keep up your extra toughness. Really don't have to worry too much about the early waves. Everything goes pretty simple. I usually try to keep the frozen piranhas between me and the enemy. There we go. Starting on wave 26. Hopefully we can get to 34, 35. I don't know though, it depends on what mobs we get. There we go. And as you can see, we're just melting through the mobs. 31. So now I'll start using Horrify as a way to CC targets. Those Phantom guys do a good amount of damage. I think I might get capped out right here. We'll see. Yeah. Too much HP on the targets. So we start at 28. So this might be a 4-part series depending on how it goes. But the 28 is going to run real easy. I can already tell you that now. Reflect, we don't have to worry about that because we got Simplicity Gem. Use Horrify to keep things CC. Should roll this with pretty fast. There we go. And again, another Reflect mob, but since we have Simplicity Gem, we don't have nothing to worry about. We can just go right in and kill it. Another Elite dead. It might just be the build's not that good at doing trial rips, but I usually end up skipping a lot and doing well. Here we go. And nothing too fancy here. I mean, we're just throwing out toads, using frozen piranhas, increased damage, CC targets along with idling toads. And then sometimes I like to go in and Horrify, give him a little CC. If things dying really quickly. The Zombie Dog is really good at killing elites. And nothing really too fancy here. I do enjoy the dog a lot. The poison one seems just to be so much of a monster. Since we provide AoE with the idling toads, the increased damage, the AoE from the Gargantuan, and the extra damage from the fetish, the trash mobs go actually pretty fast. And the elites die really quick because we have our anchor, the Zombie Dog. And when he's set to the poison dog, he's poison dot that he puts upon the target actually stacks. So that's what makes him so good on the Greater Rifts and also the Rift Guardians. Here comes another reflect mob. We're not going to worry too much about it. We're just going to get in his face because we got 22k life on hit. Gonna horrify. And again, the elite goes down really easy because of our zombie dog. Gaining some good momentum. Hopefully we could skip to 32, maybe 34. We'll have to wait and see. We're making a pretty good time though. There we go. Now, if you would like to run the Rhen'Ho Flayer build with Zunimasa, or if you guys definitely want to see the Rhen'Ho with Zunimasa, I can show you greater rift runs with that build. Just leave comments or requests down in the, well, just basically leave a little comment down in the comments section if you guys would like to see that. The reason why I probably won't be making a video for that is because I could, but I mean, I feel like this running the Tall Man's Finger Rhen'Ho Flayer is a more superior version than just running 23 fetishes with it. But the 23 fetishes with Rhen'Ho Flayer can actually do very well for itself. It's just when you get to certain enemies, they kind of just destroy the fetishes utterly and horribly. Oh, another elite. Reflect. Don't have to worry about reflect because we got the Simplicity Gem. Right on. Toads are hidden for anywhere between 6 and 7 mil, so that's pretty awesome. There we go. And that enemy's down. Pretty good mob density so far. Can't complain. Good amount of mobs. And we can keep everything CC'd very easily because we have the Adeling Toads and the Horrify. If you guys are wondering how my HP is staying up so well, it's because I have Simplicity Gem, I have 700k HP, plus the 8k life on hit from Paragon, so that's how I'm able to keep my life up without ever actually having to waste a pot or a potion or anything like that. Which is very nice because I could save my potions for more like emergencies and things actually need me to heal instantly or right away. Whoops, Spirit Walk out of that. Don't want to hit the exploding guys. There we go. Horrify and Adeling Toads with the Piranhas are frozen. Now, if you didn't want to run Bane of the Trap instead of Simplicity Gem, I think that would be a very good option because the Bane of the Trap, when you use the Adeling Toads and you have the Frozen and you have the Horrify, Bane of the Trap would also work very good with Bane of the Powerful and then also Infectious Toxin Gem. Because whenever you CC them with Adeling Toads or you use Horrify or the Frozen Piranhas, it counts as impairing effect, or if you just happen to be close to the enemy, it activates. But works very well with Bane of the Trap. Adds in a lot of good DPS and what have you not. And that elite basically stood no chance and died instantly because the zombie dog is hitting like a truck. He hits for about 120 million, which is pretty nice, which I can't complain about. Really does take out those elites very well. Makes your life a lot easier. And there we go. Okay. And I want to go here and Horrify so I get a little bit more CC. I'm going to sit back and kite it back a little bit and have these toads do all the work. I can put like the Frozen between us, Piranhas, and just sit back and just cast toads from afar. Their toads will automatically seek it on their targets. Looks like a plan to me. This should spawn the Rift Guardian. And we got a pretty easy Rift Guardian. Horrify just for the armor. And watch as that zombie dog goes to work, tossing out toads for extra deeps. Hopefully we get a pretty good skip. And he's down. And that actually went pretty well, so I can't complain about that. And all the fabulous prizes. Ooh, a mace. No, that's a bad mace. Okay. And we got that. And then we're going to go ahead and, like I said, we're up to 32, so that was a pretty nice skip. So it looks like this will be a, probably a 3-part video, depending on if I skip on 32, but I should. So that was the first video. That just basically just goes over, you know, what skills I'm using, what items I'm using, and how I came about doing the build, the Paragon breakdown, and the jewelry for the legendary gems. So I know a lot of you guys just kind of just check out the first video and just to see how the build goes, and how everything else is, you know, how you basically build it. The other videos are more of me showing, you know, how I started the trial rifts and what level I end up capping off at, and just showing you guys how the build performs at higher greater rift levels. So if you want to see the next part in this video where I tackle floor 32, just go ahead and check out video number 2. As always, I appreciate you guys watching my videos. Look out for my future guides coming out. I got a Grim Reaper build coming out, and also a Hell 2/Rhen'Ho Flayer build, so look forward to that. But anyways, I will see you guys later.